Well, here we are. The very first review on my channel. Now, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I've thought many days, weeks, nay months about which movie I should review first. Should I review a movie that I love? A movie that I hate? A movie that I don't really care about? Maybe not the latter. But anyways, case in point, I had no idea what I was supposed to review first. But then, one day, I figured it out. I finally knew what movie I should review first. An animated movie that came out in 2004, and what I consider to be, subjectively, in my opinion, one of the few movies I consider to be perfect. That isn't Incredibles. The movie I am talking about is, of course, well, you've already probably seen the title of the video, so you probably knew that. Yeah, it's Shrek 2. It's Shrek 2. Why did I decide to build this up for so long when most of you probably already knew that was the point of this video, that was going to be the review? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, Shrek 2. In my opinion, it's one of those very few rare movies that I personally consider to be perfect. Now, objectively, is it perfect? No, but no movie is, so that's not really a big problem or anything. But it is just so... it's just so good, you know? Now, if I were to talk about everything that works in this movie, we would be here for many hours, and let's just say I'm not going to make my first review that long. So, because of that, I'll just quickly sum up all the things that I love about this movie. And it's basically all of it. The characters, amazing. The story, fun and makes sense and continues on from the first movie incredibly well. The comedy, perfect. The song choices, unbelievably good. The animation, kinda dated, but it came out in 2004, so I'm not really going to compare it to newer movies, you know, because that would be unfair. So yeah, I think you get the point. I could gush about this movie all day, but in this specific video I just want to talk about some things that I, wanted to talk about specifically. Number 1. Shrek's character arc. So again, I could talk about basically any character in this movie and talk about why they're so great. My personal favorite is probably King Harold. Basically every scene he's in is hilarious. And the actor who plays him, which I don't remember his name, don't judge me, just does such a good job. And it's just, any scene with him is just amazing. But anyways, Shrek's character arc in this movie is that while he has finally learned to truly love someone, he's not ready to meet society yet. Because, well, you know, society hates him just because of how he is and how he looks. He mentioned this time and time again in the movie, and he doubts himself as a result. Even going as far as to drink a potion that changes his entire appearance, just to make Fiona happy. And get the society to finally respect him for who he is. But then Fiona tells him at the end of the movie that she loves him for who he is, the ogre she married. And the main reason why I love this character arc so much is because it perfectly moves on from the character arc in the first movie. In the first movie, Shrek believes that no one can like him, or love him for that matter, until he meets Donkey, someone who isn't terrified of his appearance, or hates him for just how he looks. And then he meets Fiona, someone he learns to love and someone he eventually marries. So having his character arc in this movie be that he just wants to make Fiona happy and get the society to actually love him, well, it's a perfect transition in my opinion. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the best part of this movie. Nah, I'm just kidding. This right here, this is it, Chief. The climax of this movie might actually be my favorite animated scene in any animated movie ever. Maybe, I haven't completely decided yet, but it's up there, let me tell you. I cannot get over how well this climax works. From the editing, the action, the tension, and of course, how well I Need a Hero works in this scene. Like, seriously, I cannot believe how good this scene is. I could literally make like an hour-long movie just like analyzing every single part of this climax. It is just so good, and I just can't even process it. Like, we're not worthy of having a scene like this, guys, okay? We are not worthy to have a scene like this in a movie. It shouldn't be possible. Also, you know how I said that no movie is perfect? Well, while you can't really make a perfect movie, you can make a perfect scene, and well, this whole climax is pretty much the perfect example of a perfect scene. I just cannot explain how much this scene it's so amazing, you guys. Like, you guys already know this, okay? It's like the most famous scene from like Shrek 2, or maybe all the Shrek movies actually. And yeah, it's just mind blowing, honestly. Oh, and by the way, can we just quickly just talk about the soundtrack in this movie? Because this movie has one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard, in just not just an animated movie, but in like movies in general. Like, this is Baby Driver levels of soundtrack. And if I'm comparing a soundtrack to Baby Driver's soundtrack, well, that's how you know it's pretty darn amazing. First off, we have Accidentally in Love, which in my opinion perfectly encapsulates Shrek and Fiona's situation. Funkytown is perfect for when we first see Far Far Away. Changes work perfectly when Shrek has literally, well, changed. And just, oh my god, I could talk about this soundtrack for days. Pretty much every single song fits the situation perfectly. Well, except for Living the Live Loca. I feel like they only included that one because it was popular at the time. But besides that one choice, pretty much every single song in this movie fits perfectly. And that leaves me with the final part of this video. How does Shrek 2 continue on and compare to the first one? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Both of them actually. This movie follows on from the original perfectly, and in my opinion is a total upgrade. And keep in mind, I really like the first one. Like, I really love the first one, but compared to Shrek 2, yeah, Shrek 2 is just way better in my opinion. It takes pretty much everything the first movie did well and makes it like 10 times better. And I'm not even joking about that. This movie is just so good. And it also follows up from the first one pretty much perfectly. I already talked about that with Shrek's character arc from both movies. But this movie also follows on from the first movie in other ways as well, including creating new locations, characters, themes, and implementing all the characters from the first movie perfectly into this one. So, all in all, Shrek 2, while not an objectively perfect movie, is subjectively, for me, a perfect movie. I laugh out loud every single time I watch this movie, and I get invested in every single one of the characters every single time. And that is the main reason why I love this movie so much. I can watch this movie God knows how many times, and I think I'll enjoy it every single time. And I can't really think of too many other movies that I could say that for. Shrek 2 is just an overall masterpiece of a movie in my opinion. And I think it deserves every little bit of love that this movie gets. Shrek 2 is objectively probably a 9 out of 10. But for me, personally, it's a 10 out of 10. This movie is amazing. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching my very first movie review. I'm really happy about having made this channel, and I'm really excited to see how it will go in the future. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye bye. Man, my first movie review. Really cool. I forgot to say something about the Fairy Godmother. She was pretty good, but she wasn't as good as Lord Farquaad, baby. Best movie villain ever. Thanos has nothing on him. Joker, was that right? Shrek 5, Daddy Farquaad's Revenge.